Hi, I'm Heather, and this is a knitting update number 13 for Sunday, January 25th. And we are having a big weather day here today. It's been snowing all day. We were supposed to get like 23 centimeters. It's freezing cold. I don't know if I'm always going to do a weather update at the beginning of these videos, but I think because the weather has been kind of remarkable, like not the usual, I just feel like I want to talk about it, so sorry if it's not your thing. But yeah, let's get into the knitting. I actually don't have much progress to show for today, and I just want to say, if you watched my video from yesterday, I need to maybe put a disclaimer. I had recorded at least 20 minutes and I cut out half of it because I was so rambly and storytelly, which I don't know, maybe people would like it, but I didn't like it, and I felt like, so I just cut a lot of it out. And I think it kind of hurts. I don't like doing too much editing because I feel like it does disrupt the flow. But can I just say this? When I get my chemo, I get a steroid, and I have to take it for 2 days after my treatment because I think it's to prevent any nausea. And lately it has been causing me to be in a crazy roid rage, which is a real thing. It doesn't mean that I'm raging, but definitely my energy is like at 100. And yesterday I hadn't even taken a steroid, and I've been on half the dose. I finally got the permission, or complained enough that I was allowed to reduce the dose by half. And this was my second week on the half dose, and unfortunately this week, like, my Friday dose lasted Friday and Saturday, and today I feel like I'm kind of crashing. I actually don't feel too bad. This morning I was super low energy, but now I feel okay. But I just want to say that yeah, roid rage is a real thing. It is not fun. It feels like I'm going crazy, and it kind of feels like I'm a completely different person. But sometimes it is great because it also gives you more energy to do stuff that maybe you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. And I think it also does sort of bolster my appetite a bit, which can be good, but the feeling of like this uncontrollable, like, high energy can be a lot, and sometimes I don't even know that it's happening. So I don't know, is that too much explaining? Do you guys need to know all that? Who knows? I'm not wearing any hand knits today. I'm wearing my favorite Ramdas sweatshirt from Online Ceramics and my knit hat, which unfortunately, now that I'm a baldy, I don't really like wearing this hat, but I figured since I'm just sitting at home, I guess I can let people on the internet see me wearing it. I don't know. When I go out in public, I always just feel like it emphasizes my baldness. But this is a super cute hat. They're made by, I bought it from Deegan. And the funny thing is, so Deegan is a American-based business, but these hats are made in Canada, which is where I live. At least this one, this run. And they're wool. And I was happy to get this nice dark green color. Yeah. So let me get into my progress. I'm just going to show you my sock again, even though I really haven't made, I have knit on it a bit, so I probably made a couple inches or inch or two of progress. You can see it in the more natural light today. Yeah, I'm still loving it. I want to get another ball of this KCI sock indulgences. KFI, whatever. Sock indulgence in this colorway, Shenandoah. If I could remember if that store, the yarn store, had another ball of this, I'd definitely be making the trek up there, but I think this was the only one, so I don't know. I guess I'll just keep my eyes peeled. I never really noticed this brand of sock yarn before, and then since I've gotten this one, I've been seeing it around, so I guess it's more common. It just wasn't something I ever paid attention to. So there was one thing I haven't mentioned about this sock since I started talking about it. I am doing a 72 stitch sock. So I don't know if that's a good idea or not. When I started, the cuff looked so small to me, so I was like, yeah, for sure the 72 stitches is gonna work out great. But then once I got to the foot part, I feel like it looks pretty big. And I don't know if it's just I'm overcompensating for doing the smallest size of the vintage lampshades, which is it's probably like a 64. I don't know what I honestly don't know what like the standard stitch numbers are for the sock sizes, but that one definitely is 60 something stitches. Anyways, I don't know if I did the slightly bigger one to compensate, but I've been trying it on now that it's almost at the point to do the toe, and the fit seems okay, so I think the 72 is okay. And my only other progress I made was I wound up the mini skein for the toe. I talked about this last night, but I feel like the lighting wasn't good, so I think that'll be kind of a nice combo. Let me hold it up here. I think that'll be cute. All right, sorry I was interrupted, but that was enough about the sock. And then progress on my sweater. So yesterday, part of the thing that I cut out was yarn chicken and my fear of running out of the yarn, since this is a frog project, but I actually can get more of this yarn, but it won't be the same dye lot. Anyways, I won't get into all that again, but because of my fear of running out of yarn, I decided to pick up the sleeve and start with the sleeves first before finishing the body, which I think a lot of people do kind of do this as a normal sweater construction method. Like the idea is sometimes like if you have the collar and the sleeves on, then you actually know how the sweater will lie, and that will help you make a more accurate decision for the length of it. So I'm just doing it more for yarn chicken purposes, but this is how far I am on the sleeve. And I did actually knit a little bit on the body too before I picked up the sleeve. And I measured how much more of the sleeve I need to do. So I did less decreases than the pattern called for, because actually the sleeve, I don't want it to be too tight. And I think this looks pretty good. And then I measured off of my other White Mountain sweater for the sleeve length, and I put in a progress keeper, which I haven't showed these, but my Labubu progress keeper. So from here I have 8 inches left to do the sleeve, and I think I'm going to do 3.5 more of the stockinette and then 4.5 of a 2x2 rib to kind of match the collar, because I want to have a big chunky cuff, and I want the sleeve to be pretty long. So this sleeve will be 4 inches longer than my original White Mountains. Do I keep calling it White Meadows? The White Mountains by Midori Hirose. Oh my god. This is a crash. This is a post-steroid crash. Yeah, so not a lot of progress to show, but still loving how it looks, and also you can see it more in the natural light now instead of nighttime light. I really like the mohair, the silk mohair with the yarn, with 100% wool. Anyways, let's put that aside. But so 8 more inches on the one sleeve and then the other sleeve, and then I'll be done. Just like that. And I do kind of have a loose deadline of when I want to finish that, because next weekend we're going to Toronto. Maybe that's a good target to have it done by next Saturday. I did bring my other White Mountains to sort of show, because I feel like I talk about it a bit and I was wearing it in one video, but I never really showed it. So this is the same pattern, Midori Hirose White Mountains. This one I did I guess it's the funnel neck, and then I did the same sort of finishing for the sleeves and the body. It's just a basic knit bind off. So it's supposed to be a rolled hem, but it's not really rolling. But I'm totally fine with that. And I really like the funnel neck. I feel like it's kind of like fancy or elegant looking. And you can wear it, you know, just loose, or you can kind of fold it in. And I actually really like it. So I made this one pretty cropped. As you can see, here's where the raglan ends. And because I have a short torso, I can get away with just knitting this much of the body, and that's not even a crop top on me. This is like a pretty reasonable length. And then the sleeves are just probably more bracelet length. And I knit this in, if you haven't seen my other video where I talk about it, the Rowan felted tweed, which I found at a thrift store, and held with a Hello Stella mohair. So I had 2 skeins of the mohair, and I used maybe about 1.5, and I had, I think, 8 balls of the felted tweed, and I only used 5. Yeah, this is a pretty economical sweater. It doesn't use a whole lot of yarn, especially if you like your things a bit on the shorter side, and maybe the fact that I didn't do ribbing. I don't know, but I do really like this sweater. I think I don't give it enough love. I do wear it from time to time, but I probably should wear it more because it's so nice and light. I think I was saying this, it's a DK weight held with a mohair, and I think that I knit it on like 6.5 millimeter needles, which is what I'm using for the sweater I'm doing now, my new White Mountains. This one has a really open and airy feel to it. I don't know what the gauge is or anything like that. It's really nice, and I think this would be a good, you know, if you want to travel and take your hand knit sweaters with you on vacation. A lot of times I don't because they just take up so much of the suitcase, but this one would be small and light enough to fit in a suitcase. I think it'd be all right. So yeah, I thought I'd just kind of highlight that sweater. I made that, I think, last year at this time, actually. It's kind of funny that I'm now working on a new version of it for this year. And this one I hope will be a bit more substantial and more wintry. And I think that's kind of influenced by the fact that we've just been getting snow non-stop. So I already think this video is kind of long enough, but I do have this book here, and I was gonna just talk about it for a minute. Let's see if that happens. So I have this copy of Knits About Winter. This was put out by Pom Pom in 2018, I want to say, and it's by Emily Foden, and I'm pretty sure that she is located, or was at the time of the writing of this book, she was located in Ontario, which is the province I live in. Anyways, I don't have to get into all that. That's not why I'm trying. This book is really cute. Like, I like how it has these vellum paper touches. And then there's a lot about her process, because she also makes yarn, and her process for writing patterns and where she lives and stuff like that. It's a nice book. It has a lot of knitting patterns. So there's a couple sweaters, including this really cute oversized jacket cardigan. I like that. There's another sweater. I'm not going to show you everything because it might be a little bit boring, but there is one other sweater that I really, oh, there's these mittens, and so she has a pattern for mittens and then mitten liners, which I think is a great idea. But these mittens are so cute, and then you can knit interchangeable liners, which I guess you can replace. Then there's this sweater. The only thing is, so there's a sweater with like nice cables on it. It's a cropped, kind of boxy, oversized. Sweater that has really nice cable details, but you can't really even see the cabling in the picture. Maybe I'll just show you this. Pom Pom always has these illustrations. So there's cables alongside. I think it's really nice. I haven't made anything out of this book. Actually, I tried making the brioche scarf, and I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't even know what brioche was then. And I never ended up finishing it. I actually frogged it. So the one thing I kind of wanted to touch on mostly from this book is her sock pattern, which I haven't tried. And actually, I just heard a different YouTuber talking about it, which is kind of what made me dig this book out of my little bookshelf, I guess. She provides a sock pattern, but it's kind of like, I guess people sometimes call it a recipe. So it's like the stitch counts that you follow and everything like that. But I really like the variations and like her color choices. And then the changing from like a 1x1 rib to a 3x1 rib. And the striping, I don't know, I think it's like such a good idea, and I think I really need to use this. I'm going to keep it out for inspiration for my sock knitting this year, since I'm going to be knitting a pair of sock a week. And then in the back, yeah, so there's like these 5 variations. I keep trying to look. Yeah, just something, you know, like, I think it's always good to kind of remember that you can do something just so simple and straightforward like a rib sock, but maybe it's more about your color choices or how you do some striping. And then she also offers a DK version of the pattern, and I never think about this. I always just have DK weight yarn to make DK socks, but you know, you can just hold 2 strands of fingering together and make these marled socks, and I really like the look of those, so I'm probably gonna try those as well. So yeah, just some fun patterns in this book that I have had for years. My brother-in-law gave me this for Christmas, probably the year like in 2018, and I feel so intimidated about using books for knitting, I guess, and I don't think about it off the top of my head. I think because I just spend so much time on my phone and looking at Ravelry, it's just so much easier to buy a PDF version of a pattern and just have it digitally on my phone and look at it that way. But I think I really this year would like to sort of use some of these books that I have, and I guess I could use the Summer Lee one that I just got, the Sock Obsession, but I really like the idea of doing these sort of simple rib socks and just mixing up the ribbing and mixing up the color changes, or doing the DK weight but just using 2 yarns held together is such a cool idea. And I do see people use that, do that to kind of use up their scraps. Anyways, I don't know if that inspired you at all, but hopefully it did, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.